John Lick just hit a lick for $46 million. A 21-year-old kid named John Daghita almost pulled off a heist for $46 million worth of cryptocurrency. And if it was not for a civilian investigator, he may very well have gotten away with it. Let me put y'all up on this story because this 21-year-old kid fled to the Caribbean, and if it wasn't for ZachXBT, he may have never gotten caught. Here's what actually happened. This kid, John Daghita, John Lick, I'm just going to call him John Lick for the duration of this video. John Lick, right? That's what he did. He hit a lick. The long and short of this one is that this kid's father had a position where he had access to a government contract. He owned a company, he had a government contract, so he was working closely alongside the government. Of course, the U.S. Marshals, they hold a stash of millions of dollars and a lot of cryptocurrency seized assets that they've taken from people, but in this case particularly, we're talking about the cryptocurrency, right? When they arrest traffickers, smugglers, and any other type of criminal who may be moving money in crypto, they're going to seize those assets. All that crypto that's seized as evidence goes into government. These government wallets, federally controlled, they're supposed to be secure, right? But because of John Lick's dad's contractor access to these cryptocurrency wallets, this was the backdoor that John Lick needed. He essentially used his dad's contractor access to find some backdoor and a way to access these wallets where all of this cryptocurrency that was seized was being stored. Man's got some balls because he just basically just robbed the feds. He robbed the cops. He robbed the people who actually seized this stuff from criminals or would-be criminals. He turned the tables on them and he actually robbed the cops. U.S. Marshal, using his dad's contractor access on whatever backdoor he found to these supposedly federally secured wallets, he started transferring cryptocurrency to himself. Then after he gathered himself over $40 million, $46 million, he did what any criminal would do and tried to flee. He tried to get out of the country, right? So he went to the Caribbean, packed up a suitcase full of cash, packed up his cryptocurrency, and basically skipped out to St. Martin. Honestly, I think it shows the maturity level of some of these criminals because this guy's only 21. You're not getting away in the Caribbean. There's very few places in the world you're going to be able to go where the feds are not going to be able to find you. You're dealing with the type of government that's finding terrorists hiding deep in underground bunkers and blowing them off the map. So you think you're going to hide and get away with $46 million and you're just a regular Joe Smo kid? It's not going to happen. And whenever I come across these criminals that steal millions of dollars, I always, if I can, I like to follow the money a little bit. What did he do with the money? First of all, he tried to skirt away to the Caribbean, which, as I just explained, that ain't going to work. But when this French tactical unit actually rolled up on him, they found him with crypto wallets, cold storage wallets that had the entirety pretty much of the $46 million on them. So essentially, in something that's this size, he had $46 million and he was traveling to the Caribbean with it in a suitcase, just strolling around St. Martin casually with $46 million in his pocket. I don't know if the feds would ever caught this guy if it wasn't for ZachXBT. He gets involved whenever these crypto scams are going on. He might do an investigation and try to help. It was only because of ZachXBT that the feds were able to actually track this guy down. Once ZachXBT actually tracked the wallets and traced this guy, which I don't even know if that was a challenge for him, right? Because as you can see on screen, John Lick was actually taunting ZachXBT because he knew he was on his trail, but he thought that he was going to be able to get away. But he was actually taunting ZachXBT on Telegram. So he was John Lick's a little ballsy here. He's taunting his investigator, and can you even blame him, right? Because without ZachXBT, the feds may never catch this guy. Like I said, the marshals, maybe they want to go after his money, maybe they don't. It really just took one just anonymous dude on X who does crypto investigations to find a criminal who's on his way to getting away with 46 million. They did a joint operation with the FBI and with this French elite police unit to go into St. Martin, arrest this dude and capture him. Cash Patel, he announced it on X. They didn't even send the feds to go get this guy. They just sent some French police. If you're watching this video, you probably care about where all this money goes and how these people are actually able to get away with stealing a lot of money. So please hit the subscribe, because I cover heists like this, and I cover all these types of criminals who almost get away with millions of dollars. What's crazy about when I cover these is always some very simple way how they stole the money. It's very rare that they're some savvy tech person, or they're a hacker, or they have some sophisticated system in which they're gonna pull off these heists. This particular guy, John Lick, it just was all about proximity. It was all about opportunity, just simple being in the right place at the right time. His dad was a contractor. He found out about these seized assets, and that was the only in that he needed. It just was a simple backdoor. He's just transferring cryptocurrency to himself. So over the years, the marshals have actually seized billions in cryptocurrency. And so I guess John Lick thought that $46 million would just be a drip in the bucket and nobody would notice. Why do you just have billions of dollars of cryptocurrency sitting on wallets and it's not secure? Some guy is able to just transfer the crypto to himself, and he's not even a Fed. He's not even a contractor that's working for the feds. He's just a family member of the contractor. We got to figure out some better security protocols when it comes to cryptocurrency and when it comes to just seize assets in general. There's a lot of things that the Fed does, and this new task force that they're putting out, which is going to be like very vital to stopping this type of fraud. But it seems to be that in our government, there's just a lot of exploits for people that just, and it seems kind of random, they just bump into these opportunities to steal millions of dollars. And it's concerning that people keep doing it and taking the risk. How many people are actually getting away with this? And of course, when they seize all these assets, they have these billions sitting on cryptocurrency. None of this money ever gets returned to the people that it was stolen from, unless you have people like ZachXBT step in. None of these assets get trickled back into the public. If they're stealing these assets, you think that all of this money sitting there on these cryptocurrency wallets, they could be going to things like infrastructure, schools, rebuilding over here, and they just don't. Most of the time the money gets stolen, and then some young guy throws chains on and goes on a nice vacation with the money, and that's just it. This kid literally stole from the people whose job it is to catch criminals. I don't know how much empty space you have to have in your head to steal from the cops, but that's exactly what John Lick did. Get in the comments, tell me what you think about this one. Most of the people watching these videos are not subscribed, so please hit the subscribe button and come back for more Parallax Digital.